Welcome to Inside the Huddle with Coach Tigh Compton, Gary Justice with the Justice Broadcasting Network, and Coach Bears go 2-0, two big conference wins over the weekend. Past week.
Yeah, no, it's last two conference games before Christmas break, so it was really good for us to end on a good note and to be able to go into Christmas break with an undefeated conference record and performing well.
Well, Coach, you talking about performing well. The Bears they've won 10 straight, and I tried to do some research, and I believe this is the longest win streak for the Bears since 2017-18 season when we started off 16-0. You guys have won 10 straight, and you're 7-0 in conference. I mean, of course, now you got two, as you call them, prove-it opportunities this week with another top 10 matchup with Cumberland's on Tuesday, then Rio Grande on Saturday. But, Coach, what's your thoughts so far? 11-2, 10 straight, 7-0 in conference.
Yeah, I feel good about it. It's hard not to feel good about the way that we've played, certainly of late, and especially with the new system of certainly defensive system that we're running. We knew that early in the year would be difficult. We'd have to get out there and feel it out a little bit, and I think our guys have responded. And the thing that's made me the happiest so far up to this point, and again, the wheels could fall off tomorrow, but the thing that's made me feel better about the whole scenario this year is that I feel like we're getting better each and every time we go out, and our guys are starting to understand and be able to pick up the things that we need to pick up to be better and improve from a game-to-game basis.
Well, Coach, going back to this past week with those two conference wins, going 7-0, we got a 2.5 game lead in the conference as well. It's really two different styles of games this past week. I thought on Wednesday against Milligan, really turned up the defensive pressure. You held the league's leading scorer, Elisha Breadwood, to 1 of 10 from Florida. I think he only had 3 points total. And then as you guys win that one, 71-58. And that the game was it was closer to a 20-point ball game most of the second half. And then so you used defense on Wednesday, and then Saturday. And, Coach, that first half, it was amazing. Offensive and defensive, he scored 57 in the first half, 94 in the game, pick up a 94-76 victory. Let's go back to Wednesday, Coach, against Milligan. Talk about the game against the Buffaloes.
Yeah, it's again, just you find yourself experiencing different kind of situations within each and every game. And that game was a game that really showed us that we can win without playing our best, certainly offensively. We had some early season struggles when the ball didn't go through the hoop. But we didn't really shoot the ball very well against Milligan, and we're still able to rely on our defense at that point in time. And I think that speaks to the maturity and growth of our group. They didn't let the ball not going through the basket dictate their energy and effort defensively, and they still knew and had confidence that they could win the game. I think it was 64-38 with 7 or 8 minutes to go, whatever it was, and certainly had an opportunity to close that game out in a better fashion than we did. But again, just with the way that we shot the ball, how poorly we shot the ball that night, anytime we can come out with a good win like that, we'll take it every time.
Coach, you've all since I've known you and you've taught me so much about the game of basketball, you have to be able to win in different styles, as you talked about, especially at the level that you want to win on that national tournament level. As you described, every night the ball's not going to go through the bucket. How are you going to adjust and still win the ball game? And I think this group this year, Coach, with the new defensive system, the new style of play you put in, seems like guys are reacting much quicker now, more smoother. I was talking to Coach Boswell before we started recording, and he says guys are playing with so much more confidence now. Is that the maturity as well, Coach?
Yeah, I think so, and I think with confidence comes decisiveness, and I think that's been the biggest thing for us is right or wrong, our guys have been decisive in what they're doing and the way that they're playing, and it's given everybody a lot of confidence to feed off of that, and it's just giving us a fighting chance even when we don't execute just perfectly. We still have the confidence that with our energy and our effort, we can still make something good happen. And they've seen that happen enough times now to really believe in that. So, we're not foolish enough to think that we're not going to have plenty of valleys throughout the rest of the year. We're at a peak right now, and the season is full of peaks and valleys. So, we know that the sky will start falling at some point in time again. But I do think that our group is mature enough and experienced enough, certainly now at this point of the year, to not overcompensate for that, not panic too much, and understand that we just got to take it on a game by game basis and try to play our best every night that we go out and adjust to the best of our ability, and hopefully that'll be enough.
Well, you've said in some previous episodes before that made shots could cover up a lot of flaws a lot of times, but then I thought on Wednesday again the team adjusted where the ball wasn't going through the hoop. Again, used that defensive intensity, coach, and again had a 25, 26-point lead most of the game. And against Milligan, they closed that one out. That was your 9th straight win. And then, Coach, the exact opposite happened that first half at Tennessee Wesleyan on Saturday. As you go down to Athens, Tennessee, the final score 94-76, but at halftime it was 57-30, Coach. That was a complete first half.
Yeah, it was probably, we've had a couple of really good games there against Life and against IU East, but, the first half of the Tennessee Wesleyan game was about as good as we could play on either side. I thought, that they're very well coached. Coach Casey does a great job and is a great friend. And, we knew they were very dangerous, especially on the offensive end. They've got two really, really elite shooters. And, we knew that they were capable of shooting it and scoring it from anywhere. So it was a good test for our guys. They came out motivated to come out and play their best, and again they put their best foot forward there in the first half, and didn't play a bad second half. It was just it's hard to keep that up for two halves. You know that Tennessee Wesleyan was going to respond in the second half.
Yeah, and they did. They had a couple little mini runs in that second half. But I thought the ball club responded well to that, Coach. Whereas you talked about Coach Casey, made some adjustment. Has some talented players on his ball club as well. They started going through the bucket a little bit for them. I thought our guys, I think made the lead, may have got down to 14 or 15, then were responding, got back up to 20 points. Talk about that response from your team, Coach.
Yeah, you get in those situations where you get a big lead and you know that time is your friend, and with the way that we play, we know that we want to make them to come back by 2. We don't want to let it be easy by 3, and sometimes, that gets us a little too spread out at times, and we lose our way a little bit by just trying to force the 2 versus the 3. But yeah, I again, just kudos to our guys for coming out and competing on the road in a conference game. Those are the toughest games in basketball to win, are conference road games, and for them to have the confidence in their ability and the confidence in each other to come out and play the way that they played, that's 100% them.
And Coach, that was a big win. You were sharing with me that you had never won.
Yeah, one of those, Coach Stone before Coach Casey, but Coach Casey last year as well. That was our third crack at it, and we'd had a couple tough ones. We had a shot at the buzzer to tie it our first year that we went down. Then we had about a 15-point lead at halftime last year, and they came out and I think went 21 for 25 or something like that in the second half, and we dropped that one in a close one. So it was good for those guys, especially the seniors that have been part of this our entire time during the AAC, to be able to check another box that wasn't checked prior to this weekend.
Well, Coach, you talked about prove-it opportunities now. As we previewed this week, 2 quality ball clubs. You got the Cumberlands on Tuesday, Rio Grande on Saturday, as you play another ball game at the historic Williamson Memorial Fieldhouse in Williamson, West Virginia. But, Coach, this ball game on Tuesday, it's a big one against the former conference foe and the University of Cumberland Patriots, who are one of the either 3 or 4 remaining undefeated teams in the country.
Yeah, the next poll will come out on Wednesday, and kind of will be decided before our game tomorrow. But they're going to be a top 5 team in the country coming into that game, and or at least coming out of that game, and it'll be a great test. Coach Daniel does a phenomenal job, and has had that program running at a really high level since he took over, and obviously a little bit of a rivalry there for lack of a better word, just old opponents that we haven't played on a yearly basis since we left the Mid-South, but certainly have been part of a lot of really, really good battles against Cumberlands, and we expect tomorrow to be the same. They're a very, very talented group, but at the same time, we've got a lot of confidence in our guys, and playing here at home, and think that we've got enough to go out there and compete and make it a good game.
Well, Coach, you also shared with me now that that's before we started recording. You had to go put your grades in for the semester for the class that you teach. But, Coach, as far as what's changed as far as schedule since classes are over and your students are officially on Christmas break?
Yeah, well, so not a lot yet. Today would be the first day that we've been out of finals. We finished finals up on Friday. We left out of here Friday afternoon to go, and so today would be the first day. But it's allowed us to go a little earlier. It's these guys. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of the guys want to be professional basketball players. They love to think about the dream of being able to play, and this Christmas break area gives them an opportunity to spend a couple of weeks in a scenario where they essentially are. They are responsible for themselves in basketball. They don't have to be in class. They don't have to do anything else, and gives them a little taste of what that might look like. So we're looking forward to that routine. We're looking forward to getting to the gym a little bit earlier every day, and having a little bit of extra time to work on some things that maybe we need to work on. But yeah, this is just about today was about Cumberland's prep and trying to prepare ourselves for the game that we're going to face tomorrow.
And then, Coach, you and I also were talking about this, and this week is kind of put on fast forward. You said a little bit more time on the end, but typically play on Wednesday. This week you're playing on a Tuesday. You travel on Saturday, travel back, get back late on the Saturday evening, then you had Sunday off. You only have one day to really prep for Cumberland. Is that a challenge, Coach?
A little bit. Get you out of rhythm slightly. We're able to, with our schedule, certainly our conference schedule, with Sunday being our off days most of the time, you're required to give your team 1 day a week off every week by the NAIA. So our day is usually Sunday. It's no different this week. So, usually we have a Monday and a Tuesday to prepare for Wednesday. Then we have a Thursday and a Friday to prepare for Saturday. So you just have to try to condense it. In our situation with our off day, you just have to try to condense it down to one. And it can be challenging, but at the same time, it also requires us as a staff to really lock in on what's most important because you don't have multiple days to go over things. So you've got to really fine tune what you really need to go over and what you feel like is most important to the game. So eliminate some of the extra fluff maybe sometimes that you throw in there just in case in a scout or just in case in a walkthrough, and get you to focus on really what you feel like is most important. And we felt like we did that today, and now the hay's in the barn, so to speak. We're hopeful that we've done enough to be prepared, and we'll come in and work on a few things there tomorrow with film and that kind of thing. But yeah, for now we should be pretty close to as prepared as we're going to be.
Well, I know Coach Tigh Compton coach team is going to be prepared. I know the hay's in the barn, and I know the horse has been fed too. I know that one, so definitely looking forward to the ball game tomorrow. Coach, a closing question here. I always love to hear your thoughts on this. What do the Bears need to continue doing, and what do you need to improve on from this past week, Coach?
Yeah, we talk a lot, and I've said a lot. That we just are constantly looking to change our best, and to try to raise our best the best that we can. And I think we've done that for the most part. I think we've had a few backslides, but for the most part, we've been moving forward, and we've been getting better at a lot of different areas. And I think this is no different. We know we have a tall task versus Cumberland's, but it is a battle that we're ready for, and we'll go out and compete and give it our best and do what we can do. And Saturday's going to be the same thing with Rio. Rio is a very talented team that has played a really tough schedule and ranks really high in the metrics and RPI and those different things. And it just played this Cumberland's team very close at their place on Saturday, I think it was, or Friday, won. And it's going to be a challenge, certainly at a neutral site, and they'll have a lot of people there to support them as well. They've got a lot of West Virginia ties on their roster and their coaching staff. So two very, very challenging opportunities. And, two of our final three, I think, non-conference games of the season. So kind of winding that down as well as we go through this week. But again, just kind of what you prepare for, kind of what you get excited for is just opportunities to not just play conference games and compete for conference championships, but to be able to step outside of your conference and play some of the best competition that you can. And we're lucky to have such talented teams around us locally here or semi-locally, regionally, to be able to create the games that we're being able to create here at the arena. And then obviously there in Williamson's a really special evening for us too. So we're just excited to get both going, and I think if we can just continue focusing on trying to improve and change our best every single day, that's all that we can ask for.
Coach, that's a great life lesson, right? Continue to improve our best, or to recreate our best, and you're definitely doing it on the basketball court as the new style of the new play, your new system of play, defensively, offensively. The guys they're clicking. It seems like they're having, of course, win. It's fun to win, and definitely you can tell the guys on the floor are having a good time. Everybody's bought into their role, and they're really exceeding their role now as well too, Coach.
Sure, yeah, and we know we're not going to win them all. We haven't won them all, and I'm sure we won't win them all from this point forward. But for us, it's just about trying to control the controllables and prepare to the best of our ability, and just attack the things that we can impact to the best of our ability, and we do that for the most part. And I think if we can just continue doing that, that's all we can ask for.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this week as the Bears go 2-0 this past week as a 71-58 victory on Wednesday over Milligan and a 94-76 victory on Saturday over Tennessee Wesleyan. Again, 10 straight wins for the Bears, undefeated in conference 7-0, a 2.5-game lead in the conference standings as well, too. So for Coach Tigh Compton and Gary Justice with the Justice Broadcasting Network, appreciate you guys tuning in to Inside the Huddle with Coach Tigh Compton, and please remember, it's a great day to be a Bear.